Good morning, Coasties, and welcome to Rhema Central Coast. That was Walking the Road by Kingsley. Good morning indeed. It is the start of a fantastic Sunday. My hopes and prayers are there with you. That is the truth. We are only 4 days out from Christmas. Can you believe it? It's crazy, crazy, crazy. But yes, we're here. And this is going to be our final Sunday mornings together for 2025. I'm going to just calling time out a bit, actually, just giving some space to actually hear from God and get some direction with what He is wanting from us, from me, in 2026 with our Sunday mornings, just kind of getting a bit of a, just calling time out and saying, hey, God, you and me, let's do some work together. And that is where we are at. So what a way to start the year it was. What a way to end the year it has been. What a year it has been in general. I know that a lot of people have been having a bit of a rough one. I've certainly had one where I've just been like, wow, God, you are a good God. You bring all that you promise into fruition and you care for us. And I hope and pray you can feel that too this Christmas season, guys. I genuinely mean that. That's not where I'm going this morning, but I just wanted to add that there. And to say thank you to you guys for the work that you do in just, your everyday life, the way that you share Christ with others. I know that for myself, I have seen so many posts just recently on social media, just things that are popping up in this particular region. Not always positive stuff that people have to say, but the fact that people are asking questions about faith, about Christianity, about the church, there's talk, and it's really encouraging to see that people are willing to start talking about faith in whatever capacity that actually can be. And you are being brave in responding to that. So awesome job in whatever you can do. And the reason I say that is because you have supported what we do here. I know that you're getting behind each other and the churches that are in our midst. And yeah, I encourage you again, get behind them. Christmas season is chaotic for the families who are in ministry. There is not much chance to breathe. I can say that for the first time. I'm actually taking a moment to do that. And my husband and I have been married for almost 21 years now, but this is the first time that we have really done nothing. And it's, do I say it's been really nice? Because it has been. It's been nice to not be responsible for anything or to have to say goodbye to my husband and just have him doing his thing. It has been nice to be selfish and go, cool, you're all mine. It's great. But yes, I get for those people who are out there still slogging away this particular part of the year. Thank you for what you do, and do know that we are praying that those church doors are open, and that they're open for many guests to come in and ask questions and to get to know who this baby Jesus truly was. To ask the questions about why faith matters. I'm praying for you guys this morning that you will see the fruits of the efforts that you are putting out there, because I know it can be quite unrewarding at times. It can be times where you just think, why am I doing this stuff? There's no point to it. But God does see what you are doing, and He honours that. And that, guys, is where we're going to kick things off for this morning, because honestly, God, we have examined this year, is a faithful God. He is a God who honours His promises, and He honours them in all the ways. There's no ways that He just kind of backtracks and goes, you know what, I know I said that, but God honours what He promises. And when we look at Jesus and the way that He came into the world, you bet He has honoured those same promises there and through the events that unfolded as Jesus was brought into the world. Now, we've talked about that a little bit in the last few weeks. We're going to examine that some more because God is faithful, and we can see that and be in appreciation of that this Christmas season. So stick with me as we do that, as we explore just what I mean by that when I say God honours His promises. He's a God who does not turn His back on us, and He does not lie. He's a God who honours the truth, and He shows us that He is a God who is all-powerful. All right, stick with me. We're going to just examine this some more. Now, welcome back, Coasties. That was Parking Lot by Cochrane & Co. Did you guys get the chance to actually be a part of what happened here in Gosford last night? What an event. It was amazing to see churches come together to support the whole purpose of of bringing community in, our community, the Central Coast, bringing those who are living amongst it, who perhaps, they might even just have work sort of connections. It doesn't really matter what the reason is. But last night, what a joy it was to see the church being given an opportunity to celebrate openly this beautiful season and to do it together in partnership. There is something amazing about unity, about us bringing our own gifts, our own offerings to a cause. And I think last night is an example of that. So if you're a part of that, thank you for what you offered us. Thank you for your willingness to just get behind and support. I know for that particular event, there was prayer going on for months beforehand, going into Gosford Stadium and actually just praying over the space and just, praying that God had his hand on everything. And indeed he does. But I also know that there's plenty of churches out there doing their own Christmas events at the moment or have been. And I just encourage you guys to get behind them as well, because it is a bit overwhelming for those who are just doing. So if you can get to those things, it will mean a lot to them. What else do I need to share before I get started? Well, no, that's kind of it. I'll leave it for now. There's plenty of time this morning. We will get to that. But I want to emphasise the importance of acknowledging God's faithfulness through prophecy. And the fact that we were told through plenty of things in Isaiah especially about what, the birth of Jesus was going to look like and, trying to make sense of how things would play out. Now, I'm being very cautious with the things that I'm sharing here this morning because I had a bit of an incident last week. I think I mentioned it last week. I don't know if I told you guys or not. But I have always encouraged you guys to do your own research. And last week I did that. I did my own research. But that meant that I jumped on some sort of search. I still don't know if it was Google or what it was. And I was asking Google or whatever search engine it was, details about the relationship between Mary and Joseph, because I wanted to kind of get a bit more of a glimpse of all that stuff myself. And the age that I was given for Joseph as being, when he and Mary got married was 90. And Mary came back at about 14 or 15. And I thought, I have never heard that before. I don't know how true that is. Did a second search and certainly it came up with something totally different. So I'm being very cautious with what I put out there because I do know that we can have all sorts of things thrown at us when we use search engines that, they can take us down the wrong path. Perhaps that is a bit of a nudge for us to make sure we have the good old paper Bible where we can just refer back to things. To get referenced, we may have to have, different books that sort of support that or the things that we're looking for. I know for me, I have a curious mind, so I think, okay, I want to look up this about this. And so I do need other things that will point me specifically to that and help me to kind of clarify my own mind how I see things. But I guess we can get a bit lazy at times and we can kind of go straight to just things like I have suggested, the search engines, and they can point us in the wrong direction. So as I said, I'm being very cautious with what I'm putting out there because I want to make sure I'm doing this right. But if we look at the prophecies that were told in, Isaiah, specifically 7:14, we can see that we were told that there was going to be a virgin birth. Specifically, the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son and will call him Emmanuel. Now, then we look at Matthew 1:23 it is, and that is where we see that this was confirmed. So this is about 1,000 years later. What was said took place. Mary was a virgin and she conceived and gave birth ultimately to Jesus. He was a prophecy that was fulfilled through Mary. If we look at the birthplace of Jesus, according to one of the searches I have done, Micah 5:2 foretold the Messiah would come from Bethlehem, stating, "But you, Bethlehem Ephrathah," I think I've Ephrathah. I hope I've pronounced that right. Though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruler over Israel. And then again, Matthew 2:1, we see that verified. You can get that exact Bible verse for you if you like. Just to clarify, Matthew 2. Sorry, let's double check what I've got here. Sorry, I'm just flicking through my phone while I'm talking to you guys, but, oops. Oh my goodness, I don't know about you guys, but I'm so sick of all these pop-ups on the phone. Matthew 2, we can see after Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked them, where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose and have come to worship him. Now, we talked about that last week. But yeah, it's got here again, emphasising that same prophecy that I had mentioned a moment ago, which was in, I think, Micah. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, for out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people Israel. We can see it time and time again. The things that we're told, the things that were played out, they met up hand in hand. And that is an example of God being faithful. When he says something's going to happen, it will. I'm going to hold it there, guys. We've got more to explore this morning, but you can see where we're going with this. God is not a God to be messed around with because his promises do not fail. He does not waver. He does not wander from his truth or from what he has told us. He is a God who sticks with the promises he makes. Anyway, let's keep going. The First Noel by Young Heart. I love the First Noel. Always have, always will. Christmas carols are my thing when it's all those nice, just gentle songs that kind of just resonate and bring us back to, I don't know, just the hope that Jesus has given us. It's awesome to just spend some time. I don't love the shopping. Let's just get that straight. I don't love the shopping. I'm not a shopper at Christmas time, but I do love Christmas carols, as in just the real ones, the ones that, there are some happy clappy ones out there, but just the soft, gentle ones. They bring me to a place of peace, actually. Yeah, peace. Anyway, I've got off track again. I do that. If you are joining us for the first time, welcome to Rhema Central Coast. I'm Lindy and I am your Sunday morning host here. It is a delight to spend my day with you guys. Hope you're off to a really good start. And I hope you're going to find the next few weeks quite easy and quite enjoyable rather than a bit chaotic. We have got some good news for you in the process, or just before we kind of go back to what we've been talking about this morning, which is God's faithfulness, I guess, and the fact that he honours that and honoured that through Jesus' birth. We have got some good news for you before we get into that. In fact, it's actually great news. It's about the We Are Messengers Australia tour that's coming up in January. Now, for this week only, all tickets are on sale for up to 20% off. All you have to do is just click on the Buy Your Tickets Here button on our website. And if you use the code word REJOICE, 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 to get your discount, you will see that has been applied. And honestly, what a great last minute gift for Christmas. It's a really good option. So, jump on it while you can. Might as well, huh? Guys, we have been talking about God's honor, like the way that he honors what he promises, and the way that he is a faithful God. He's a God who when he says something, he means it. He sticks to it. We looked at just a few examples of that, looking at the virgin birth, how he told those before many, many, many years, about 1,000 in fact, and we see that through Isaiah, that the virgin will conceive a baby, and that baby will be born to her. He will be called Emmanuel. And if we look at Micah 5:2, we also see the birthplace being specified, specifically highlighted as where this will unfold, where it's all going to happen. And then we move to the New Testament, and we see that those things were fulfilled, and that God honoured that. When we look at the genealogy of of how things play out. We'll just keep going further with the truth that God is a God who honours what He tells us. He honours the things that can be, perhaps, brushed off at one time, would have been brushed off as just almost thoughts, like there's no proof to it. I mean, you look at Noah, that's one thing we talked about this year, and how others must have thought he was a bit crazy. Well, the same sort of thing would have applied with this stuff. These prophecies would have been told from one generation to another, but until they were fulfilled, it was kind of like, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And then suddenly there was this shift in society where they suddenly went, oh, hang on, this has just happened. It would have been a bit of a shaker, I would think big time. But if you look at the genealogy, the family line, if you like, Genesis 2:17 to 18 promised blessings through Abraham's seed. I want to specifically, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but if we look at Matthew 2, I think it is. Oh, no, it must actually be Matthew 1. I do apologise. I'm going back and forth a lot this morning because I am trying to make sure I'm specific with what I share here. But Matthew 1 goes straight to the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah. Specifically, it says, this is the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing for you because it is huge. But to kind of tie it all up, it basically points directly to how Jesus ended up in, he came from the whole line of David, which that was a promise. It was, this will happen in this way, and at the time it wouldn't have made any sense at all. But there, just look at how God, through all the generations, still has His hand on those who are in His care, and God's ways will not be foiled. They will not be tainted. They will not be brought down. When He has a plan for the world and He has a plan for us, it will come into fruition if He promises it. And that is what we see when we look at Matthew 1. It is the promise that what was said in Genesis was fulfilled through the bloodline of David and the son of Abraham, even going back before that. It's mind-blowing how to see it in writing. I encourage you guys to do that if you can. I'm not going to read it to you because, first of all, I know I'll mess up the names, but second of all, I don't think I've got the time to go through it. But yeah, go through it, and if you need the proof that this is the real deal, it's there. It really is. Anyway, that's one other thing. Specifically, there are things that, when we look at the prophecies in terms of who Jesus was described to be. Now, we talked about the description or the characteristics of God before, not that long ago. Some of the things that I've got highlighted in front of me: Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Isaiah 9:6. That was what was highlighted for those of that time, to see that Jesus was going to be this almighty God. He was indeed a wonderful counselor, and He certainly got to places where He could confront truth in people's lives and have that, He didn't need to be aggressive. He could just talk it out, and there was suddenly that moment of, oh yeah, okay, I can see there's some truth to that. He was a mighty God. He is a mighty God. Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. He came to bring peace to the world. And we saw those same sort of things with, there's an aspect here where I'm looking up just a Google search I did this morning, but it's a description of, the part of it is saying that the government will be on His shoulders. And my goodness, from the time He was born, from the very moment He was born, Herod was already on it. He was like, who is this baby? Where is he? I need to find out more about him. Wow. And that just shows you guys that when you try to do things right and you try to do things that are God-focused, God-directed, often you're going to cop it from other people who just don't get it. They don't understand. And they may try and change the path of how things play out for you. But again, if we look at Jesus, we look at his birth, we look at the prophecies that were foretold before he even entered the globe, and we can see God has a plan, and God honours his promises to us, and it's going to be okay. Whatever that looks like, it's going to be okay. But he's a faithful God, and he does not turn his back on his promises. I'll leave it there. See you soon. Yeah, welcome back, guys. That was All Things by Verses. Good morning. Welcome again to Rhema Central Coast. Welcome to Sunday mornings. It is indeed our last Sunday morning for 2025 together because I'm going to call time out for a bit. I mentioned earlier that I just decided, you know what, yep, I'm taking a few weeks just to get my head together, spend some time with God and kind of ask, all right, where do you want us to go next year, God? 2026, what do you want from me, from us, from what is presented here on a Sunday morning? And I think sometimes we have to learn just to be quiet and let God do the speaking. And that is what I'm hoping and praying he will do. I'm hoping and praying he gives me the direction and the ideas for where we should take things next year. What sort of things does he want us to be challenged by? What does he want us to hear from him? All that sort of stuff. And I hope and pray that you guys get some opportunity to do that over the Christmas, New Year period too. Just call time out and just say, hey, God, where are we at? You and me, where can we get things, how can we do things in a stronger way? How can I spend some more time with you, learning more about you and how to be like you? Certainly something special happens when we allow God just to do that. Guys, at 10 o'clock today, we have church on the radio, just reminding you of that as well. Stick around if you can. We would love to have you and just being a part of a church service if you can't do that this morning. It's a good way to do it. Still feel like you know what's going on in the area, and you can get a feel for how things play out. Perhaps you've never been to church. Perhaps you're a little bit intimidated by the idea of actually walking into a church. Well, this is a good way for you to get a feel for how things sort of evolve in a church service. Certainly every church is different, but it might just help ease the confidence to just go, yeah, I can do this. And if you are brave enough to walk into a church today, if it's been a long time, I encourage you again, if you are just going, yep, I'm ready to get back into it and meet my community firsthand, face to face. Awesome job. I encourage you, if you're sitting on the sidelines this morning thinking, I think I might give it a go. It's not going to hurt anything. Sit up the back if you have to, sneak in, sneak out, doesn't matter. I can assure you that even as a pastor's wife, I have done that plenty of times. I just want to sneak in, sneak out, do what I need to do, hear the word of God and know that I have ticked that box for the day. And as I'm ready, sort of connect with the community a bit more. Doesn't matter. It's just about taking those proactive moves to get you out and about. And that is a part of purpose, really, isn't it, guys? To just have some reason to get up in the morning. Plenty of us, have moments where we just need that reminder that there is something to do today. And church has so many benefits. So get to it if you can. What was I going to? Okay, all right. Let me just give you a rundown of what we've been talking about today. If you have not been listening, we've been talking about how God is a God of faithfulness. God is a God who honours his promises. He honours what he tells us. And if we look at Isaiah is one book that we can look at plenty of prophecies. What is a prophecy? A prophecy is pretty much just the foretelling of how things are going to play out. It's giving us, people, in general, an idea of how God wants to do things. Prophecies, in the biblical context, are things that we can refer back to and go, oh my goodness, God let people know what was going to happen there. And we can then look at the prophecies fulfilled. Certainly we have a lot of prophecies in Revelation giving us an idea of what's to come. But if I'm looking right now specifically and trying to highlight the idea that God is a God of faithfulness, looking at books like Isaiah and the way that Jesus' birth took place, it's extraordinary just to be able to just highlight just how truthful that is. God is a God of faithfulness. Finally, I'm just going to end with this one before we close things up in a little bit. But we've talked about all sorts of aspects of Jesus' birth. Isaiah 53:3 actually highlights the idea. It's got here, like one from whom people hide their faces. He was despised, Jesus, and we held him in low esteem. So what we're actually seeing in Isaiah 53:3, according to what people understand it to mean, is Jesus' life. It was a life of fragility. He was born in a lowly sort of setting. He was born in a manger, in a stable where there was nothing that the world had. It wasn't a production. It wasn't something that was just like, oh, we've been waiting for this and waiting for this. And it just happened so gently and subtly. And it just shows you God can use those moments in our lives where we think we have nothing or we are nothing. Jesus highlights that, his existence, the way that God chose to play it out, to bring him into the world where he was brought into this place that was not nice. I can't imagine being brought into a stable where there's all sorts of scents and all sorts of, who knows what sort of things are around. And yet he was born and he was placed in a manger. And yeah, it's phenomenal to just think God doesn't get drawn into the fakeness of what we get drawn into. He just wants to use his people, and Jesus is an example of that. He used, human life to be able to connect with us, to give us a sense of reality, and to also be able to show us the difference between class. When we see someone who has nothing, and yet God has so much potential and future and hope for that particular person. Well, this particular person we're talking right now was the game changer. He was the reason that we celebrate our faith in God. He is the connection between us being able to have a home eternally and not. He is the reason that we can live fully. He was and is the way, the truth, and the life. That is something I echo over and over and over because it is such a simple way of understanding the hope that Jesus gave us. And Jesus was brought into the world in a way that wasn't glamorous. It didn't have the stars beaming on it, as in, all these man-made stars. God certainly put on a show himself and put his own stars in the sky, but we think we've got to manufacture that significance when something big happens in our life. Perhaps we're having a new baby, or we're getting married, or we think we have to do it that way. And God has just shown us through Jesus that he uses those still moments, those humble settings, and he does big things through them. And that's I don't know about you guys, but I take some serious comfort in that. He can use the small stuff. And he has shown us through Jesus' life that the small stuff is indeed the big stuff. So take courage with that today, and know that if you're finding life a little bit hard, if you feel like you're just not getting anywhere, he is still in it. God knows what he's doing in those settings that just feel like you're not kind of climbing the corporate ladder or whatever it happens to be. He's still with you, and he still knows what he's doing in those moments. What a beautiful message that is. What a beautiful truth and hope and promise of God's faithfulness. He knows what he is doing, and that is just awesome. Oh, I love that one. New Day by Danny Goki always gets me in a good mood. Hope you're feeling it too, guys. Hope you are feeling it indeed. It is a new day. It is a new chance to bring hope and life and joy to those in your world. Because, my goodness, God has done that for us. He has given us so much. And as we get closer to Christmas, we can celebrate that truth more and more and more. God he continues to honour his promises to us. We've thought about that. We've talked about that today and in many weeks recently. God is a faithful God. He gives us an abundance just by simply looking back at how he allows things to play out. I certainly have been challenged and encouraged by looking back at the little sort of settings of the Christmas scenario, the Christmas story, Jesus' birth, how things played out, the fact that God sees purpose in all of it. I've really enjoyed the last few weeks just examining this a bit closely, a bit more closely, I should say. And I hope and pray you guys have taken something on board too, because it's not just a story we examine every year. There's so much to it. And dig your heels in, guys. Dig your heels into Scripture and get to know it as much as you can. Process it. Grab hold of it. Allow your soul to really let it just be drenched amongst you. God is a God of purpose and plan. The things that He tells us, He fulfills. We've seen it here this morning. We've examined that. We've looked at it from, prophecies gone by to how they played out and the prophecies yet to come. Oh my goodness, we've got such a good God. He lets us know what is in store, and He tells us that He's faithful. He can be trusted, and that is a beautiful, beautiful truth. I'm going to just kind of close things off today, guys, for the day, I should say. As said previously, I'm calling time out for a bit. I'm having a few weeks off, and so we'll be back here after a little while. I'm just going to spend some time in prayer myself, spend some time getting some ideas of where God wants us to take Sunday mornings here at Rhema, and just really hear from Him, hopefully, and get some ideas of what He is calling the church to be and who He wants us to be. One thing I think that I have loved doing and being a part of is kind of just seeing the church culture change over many years. And I think we're growing up. I think we're getting to a point where it's safe to say we're getting there. We're actually zooming in thoroughly, listening for God's voice and seeking Him and wanting to hear from Him. So that then means we have to sometimes be quiet, and that's what I have decided to do over the next few weeks. Just literally just be still and just let Him do what He needs to do. Give some direction as to where we're supposed to take things on a Sunday morning, but more so just ministry in this region, ministry up and down the New South Wales whole region. It doesn't matter, across the nation, praying for our people here in Australia. We are so blessed, and we want to pray and ensure that we continue hearing and seeking Him. So my deepest hopes for a beautiful Christmas, guys. I hope and pray you feel the presence of God. I hope and pray you can smile at a stranger, that you can bring joy to somebody else's life. And I hope and pray that you stay safe, that your family, your loved ones also stay safe. I'm looking forward to catching up with you guys when I get back in a few weeks. But for now, spend that time with God. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your friends. Take in this gorgeous creation that is surrounding you and celebrate, because my goodness, Jesus was and is a gift. Gonna love you and leave you. Have a super duper Sunday. I'll see you in a few weeks. Look after yourselves, and we'll be back in 2026. See you then.